Hi, it's Ann. Thanks for stopping by. We're going to be working today with a little notebook, and I have several of these. This is a pre-made one. I got it at the dollar store. In fact, several of them had these little elastic closures there, and they're cute and they're fine. On this one, I have cut that elastic band off because I want to use it actually in a junk journal cover project. Sometimes these little notebooks just come into our lives. You know, you pick one up at the thrift store, or somebody gives you one, or they're, a free giveaway at some event you're at. They come in all different sizes. And I was thinking, wouldn't it be fun to have a removable junk journal cover, removable junk journal style cover for a notebook. And I just thought it might be something that would come in handy. This might be something that might be a nice gift for somebody who's maybe not quite into the whole full-on junk journal thing with all the tags and the grunge and such, but it could be a fun cover for something that could be very handy. So we're going to do that, and we're going to do it with this notebook, and we're going to do it with a brown paper bag. So it's going to be a wraparound thing, but this notebook is going to stay very securely in there. So I'm just going to take this notebook, and I could measure it to tell you. I think it's about 6 by 9, but oh, okay. It's 5.5 by 8.25. So it's just a little bit smaller than our 6 by 9 journals that we generally do. But you can make these little removable covers any size. I often see little journals like this in thrift stores, and it's hard to resist picking them up. I'm just going to cut through all the thicknesses of this grocery bag right here. And this is going to be something where if you use up your little notebook that you put on the inside, you can replace it with something else, as long as it's the same size. And these things are pretty easily had. So, must have missed a little spot here. This will come in handy for lots of other things. And, it looks like I didn't take out the handles were inside this, so I'm just going to snip them off. And we'll save these for something else as well. There's another handle, and there's another handle. Now, when I measured this earlier, extended full length, this should be about the right size. And what I'm going to do is to wrap this double thickness of this bag around this notebook. I'm going to make a little pocket here, and I'm going to fold this over on this side. So the first thing I want to do is to glue these two thicknesses together. So let me see if I can find the place where the join is. It looks like it's right here. That's handy. And we're just going to glue those. Whoa, flicking things around. We're just going to glue these two thicknesses together, and the glue is going to strengthen the paper even more. So this is going to be a very nice, sturdy cover. This is something I think if you had any leather or anything in your household, I think leather would be great for this. It could be any kind of a sturdy fabric. You just want something that's going to be kind of sturdy. It's going to become more so with the glue that we're going to put here. So you'll use up a fair amount of your glue stick. I'm not worried about getting too close to the edge, because my plan is to sew around the outside. Boy, that's coming off a little unevenly there, isn't it? There's just almost no end to the fun things that we can do with brown grocery bags. And I never deliberately get them in the store, but they just kind of show up. Sometimes somebody drops something off for you and they put it in a grocery bag. The woman we buy our vegetables from in the summertime always gets lots of brown bags that people give her and distributes her vegetables in brown paper bags. So we always seem to have some. And I'm so glad that people are reusing and recycling those bags. Let me pull out a old hotel key and just smooth out those 2 layers. There we go. Now, yeah, and this is, this is sturdy paper to begin with. It is even more so once it's doubled up. So this is going to be a nice cover. And there are some commercially made journals that have that whole removable thing going on. And if you did not want to use a manufactured notebook, you could just take some of your your ordinary journal paper and fold it together into a signature and put it in here and remove it. We'll talk about how you can do that, but let's for now, let's just stick with the premise that we're going to use a notebook like this. And how is that going to be for? I think I want this pocket to be a little narrower, because I want to have a nice generous flap coming over the front. There we go. It might be kind of nice. This is the fabric that I want to use for the tie for this. And I think I would like to put a little bit of embellishment here along the flap of this pocket. So I think I'm just going to take an extra piece here and we'll glue that strip there. This is once again going to be temporary glue that I'm not worried about it being there in a really strong fashion, because I am going to secure it with machine stitching before this project is done. So just put a little bit of glue stick there. Oh, that came out fairly even. That kind of surprises me. There we go. So it looks like once this glue is dry, I'm going to stitch once close to the edge. This is going to be the inside of the pocket here, but I'll stitch once close to the edge to secure that raw edge down, and then one a row a little bit closer to that edge. Let's clip this off. This is a fast and easy project. Yeah, I forget what the name is for that journal system where you can take signatures in and out and replace them. But it would be very easy to use one of your DIY signatures there as well. But I ran across several notebooks, and then I did go out and get a couple this past weekend as well, because I just wanted to have them for demonstration purposes. So what this is going to be like is this is going to fit into this journal, or this pocket here like this. And I will secure that down with my stitching. But then the cover will come around the back. And this will be across the front. I like that a lot. I could just have it wrap full on like this, but I thought to make it a little more interesting, it might be kind of fun to maybe curve this a little bit. Why don't we do that? And then again, I'm going to be doing some stitching around the outside for both securing the layers together and just being kind of interesting. So my thought was I would have sort of a curved flap come out this way and then come back this way. We'll just kind of do a little bit of sketching here and see how that looks. I'm not terribly good at this, but that's why pencils have erasers, right? Bring it back like this. I just think that's going to be kind of an interesting wrap because we're going to have full coverage on this layer that's right next to the paper as well. Okay, I don't think I got that really proportional there, but I'm not going to worry too much about it. That looks a little bit better to me. All right, I'm going to take this out because I don't want that inside flap to get stuck on that glue stick that's still there. So we're just going to take a little pair of scissors and this wraparound layer is going to be very easy just to shape like this. I thought this would be something fun to do with if you had like an old, like kind of a vinyl tablecloth or something like that that you were trying to use part of. I think that might be something really nice to use for a project like this, a cover. The grocery bag just makes me think maybe you did this or your kids did. I know my daughter, when she was maybe 8th grade, maybe 9th grade, always covered all of her school books with grocery bags. And I never did that in school. It just wasn't a big thing in the 60s and 70s. But boy, in the 80s and 90s, that was a textbook cover in time, at least in the schools that my daughter went to. I think I am going to do some stenciling on this. If we were using, a heavy fabric, like an upholstery fabric or one of those tablecloths I mentioned, you're going to have some built-in pattern here. But I kind of like the idea of stenciling here. So I brought out a stencil and some walnut stain distress ink. I don't use the walnut stain very much. I'm just sort of a standard vintage photo kind of gal in most cases, but the walnut stain I think is a little more dark, so I kind of want that. Oh wait, I wanted to use the brush and not the blendy tool. So we're just going to do a little bit of blending and with our brush. Let's see how that works out. Take a little sneak peek. Yeah, that's going to be showing up a little bit. I don't want it to be super distinct, but I want it to add a little bit of visual interest. It'd be great with a color on it too. I just felt like doing something just kind of nice and neutral for my first try at this journal cover, this removable journal cover. And my walnut stain may not be terribly juicy right now. So we'll see. Maybe I'll pull up my water and give it a little bit of a spritz, reactivate that. releasing a little bit more of that pigment. How is that? Yeah, that's okay. Let's go ahead and do this back section and then the front, and then we'll get on to the next step. Dan is upstairs watching football. I'm glad he enjoys that. It just isn't anything that has ever interested me, and I'm from a football family. You would think that I would be all about it, but when it's like wild card weekend or semifinals weekend or division champion weekend or whatever it is with American football, I look at that and I rejoice if I see that on the schedule, because I think, yay, lots of crafting time. We spend plenty of time watching things together, and we did go to a movie this afternoon, so I certainly am very, very happy that he enjoys his football so much. He doesn't watch it really that much during the season unless it's the Denver Broncos. And if they're not on TV, he'll listen on the radio or follow play-by-play along online. Okay, not terribly even, but that's okay. This is actually going to be just fine, I believe. I'm not worried about continuity, piece to piece. It'll turn out however it wants to turn out. Anyway, he's enjoying a football game. It's Buffalo. I don't know. We used to live in upstate New York, as I think I mentioned, and so we have a lot of friends that are big Buffalo fans. Although I'm not a big sports fan, one thing I really do enjoy is I enjoy sports history. Isn't that weird? We went, when we lived in upstate New York, we went a couple times up to Cooperstown to the Baseball Hall of Fame and the wonderful museums that they have there. And I love baseball history. I don't think it's been years since I've sat and actually watched a baseball game in the summertime. But the history of baseball, just in American culture, it's just so, I think it's just really, really interesting. So while the game itself is not that interesting to me, I love the history of it and learning about the people that were, really groundbreakers in that area. Babe Ruth, Jackie Robinson, even the more contemporary players that I, remember from my childhood, like Brooks Robinson and Roger Maris and people like that. So I very much enjoy the history of all sports, but sit and watch the game? No, believe I'll head to my craft room. All right, this is going to be just fine, I think. And what's nice is if we use a notebook like this, or if we use a signature like this, that we can either stitch in, we could stitch that into a little spine. We could fold our signature together like that and put like a band of elastic through the spine and just hold it in with that elastic. That would be a really nice way to do a DIY signature. But anyway, let's go back to this and see how this looks. See, I love that just wrap around look with those curved edges. Oh, I think that looks great. A little bit light on my stenciling there. So let me see if I can kind of match that up and get just a little more color in there. That's a little bit better. There we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a quick break and head over to my sewing machine and do some stitching around this. And then when I'm doing that, I'm also going to stitch this long piece into place here. And that's going to be what's going to hold everything closed. So I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, we are back from the sewing machine, and I am loving how this looks. I love the fact it just it just rolls over. It is so nice. Look at that stitching. And the attachment of this, you could use twill tape, you could use ribbon, you could use cording, you could use anything you wanted. I just ran across this fabric in my cabinet and I thought, oh, this just looks nice, and there's a little bit of paisley in there, and I thought it looked great. But I just love how this rolling around the edges, there's just something that's really different about it. Let's ink up the edges. I'm going to put the notebook back in, and then we're going to do a little bit of embellishment on the front. But frankly, I don't think it's going to need a whole lot. I'm just going to go ahead and use this walnut stain and make my distressed edges sort of match the darker brown of the stenciling. And because I used the original edge of the grocery bag here, I've got a little bit of a serrated edge. I see several crafters who've been enjoying, several people that I enjoy have been using their Tim Holtz deckled edge cutters lately. I do not have one like that. I'm not really eager to have one. I don't need more equipment, but I have to admit it would be kind of fun to have a deckled edge, deckled edge cutter. But again, not something I really need. Got a little bit of a excess coming out here. There we go. This is going to be nice. This feels just so good. It is super sturdy, but yet it's really flexible too. So, and as you can tell, I have gotten myself plenty messy with the stenciling and the edge inking. Oh, I mentioned we went to the movies. We saw The Last Showgirl with Pamela Anderson. I had been wanting to see it because I'm just so interested in, that. Been to Las Vegas quite a few times, but always for work. I've never been for pleasure. Don't know that I would ever want to go for pleasure. Gambling is just not my scene. Drinking and partying is not my scene, but I like the entertainment. I used to go every year for work. We would go to the Consumer Electronics Show. But I was always really interested in the, sort of the old school entertainment that was there. Not the, Celine Dion kind of entertainment, the traditional kinds of, musicals or singers. But, the whole era of the Las Vegas Showgirl. It's not anything I ever aspired to. However, I always found it a fascinating cultural time when those were popular. Those shows were popular. And of course, they're all gone now. Okay. I got this a little bit too close. Can you see what I did here? It's not going to fit in there. So what I'm going to do is to take out the little bit of the stitching and just stitch a little bit closer to the edge. And that's going to be very easy to do. I'm going to pull out a needle and pull out this little bit of stitching. And I'll just easily go back in. And I will have holes there, but I think it's also going to be fine because this is going to be on the inside of my inside portion of this cover. I'm not going to make you watch me pull out lots of stitches. I'm going to fix this and I will be right back. Okay, that was an easy fix. I just took out just that little bit of stitching and stitched just a skosh closer to the edge. And yes, those perforation holes are in there, but it's just not going to bother me at all. If I really if I really worried about those little holes showing, I could just cover it with a little bit of fabric. But let's slip this notebook in here again, and then we'll add some finishing touches to the cover. Anyway, so yeah, the last showgirl. It wasn't great. You know, it got really good reviews. So I guess I thought I would like it a little bit more than I did. But it was, you know, it was good. It was good. I would not call it great. I've seen what I think are some great movies recently. We liked Wicked. We thought that was great. We saw, what else did we see? We saw the Bob Dylan movie, A Complete Unknown. We don't usually go to that many movies, but we've been going to more this winter. Kind of surprises me. But we've been having fun doing that on weekend afternoons. And anyway, today was the last showgirl. We had a good time. It was a good movie. I don't know that I would call it great. But Pamela Anderson, I mean, I give her credit. I mean, she, you know, with no makeup, you know, she had lots of really up close shots that, you know, showed, you know, her beyond the showgirl's facade. And you know who was fabulous was Jamie Lee Curtis. She was fantastic. Okay, here this is, but I think I need something here, and I anticipated needing something up there. So I have a few little book plates, little pieces of file folder with a little bit of dictionary on top, and I think something like that might be kind of nice. Here's one. I have a few of these little labels. These are from Tina at Shabby Dabby Doodah, and something like that might be nice. I have notes. There's quite a few interesting labels that she has in some of her digital collections. There's memories. I could haggle all day about what I wanted to put on the front. I could also go with something like this and layer some stuff on top of that. I had done a little shopping in my stash. Maybe a little die cut there. I think I want something a little simpler, because I could put together a really cute little topper that would be super if it were, you know, like let me just open this up. If this were the front of our journal cover and we wanted something like this, I would be fine with putting, you know, something like this in there. I would put, you know, maybe a little, you know, a butterfly, you know, maybe some words. I would put something kind of busy together, but I think I want something simpler now that I'm looking at it all together. So maybe I'll just use like this one with the notes. I think that would be just fine. Let me wrap it up again. I love, you know, again, twill tape or twine or ribbon would be fine too, but just this little strip of fabric in these warm colors. It's almost like it's a little winter scarf going around the neck. I think I like that. I think that's going to be just fine. So why don't I grab the stronger of my glues, in this case the Fabrifix, and we'll get this little topper on there and call this done. I like this whole idea of putting a having a way to put our own sort of cover, the removable wraparound cover, on a ready-made notebook, because it would be very easy to make a notebook to stick in there too. But if you were giving this to someone who maybe wasn't into the junk journal thing yet, and I use the word yet there because I think everybody, whoops, almost upside down. I think everybody comes into our fold eventually, don't you? There, that's going to be pretty easy to center. I'm really glad I cut this curve here. I think that adds an interesting look. But anyway, yes, if if it was a gift to someone that just tended to use a little bit more of a traditional sort of notebook, that would be a way to introduce them to the aesthetics of a junk journal and using recycled materials, but still with a traditional sort of enclosure for their actual writing, until such time as they decide to go full-on junk journal with the rest of us. Oh, this is cute. I'm very, very happy with this. Let me show you, there's a couple of other, I'm not going to do them now, but I ran across this little journal that I had just in my desk drawer. I don't really know. Apparently I used it for something because there's some pages taken out. I think I remember using, just having this in my bag where I wrote down different ideas for things ages ago, but there's a lot of unused paper in here, and it's fine to use like this, but wouldn't it be kind of cute to wrap some paper around it, wrap some grocery bag paper around it. I think this is one I could almost use a lunch bag around. I'm looking to see if I have any of those on my desk, and I do not see one, but I think that the width could be nice to use a wraparound removable cover, or create a wraparound removable cover around a lunch bag. For now, I'm happy with this out of my grocery sack, and I'm happy with this little journal. We could, add more stuff to it if we want, but I really like the simplicity of this, and I think it'd be really super nice for a gift. Yeah, it's a grocery bag. Yeah, that's what that is. Anyway, we'll see you soon, guys. Thanks so much. Bye.